yogis, welcome. Let's get started in Tadasana, mountain pose, with feet rooted at the center of the mat rather than the top. In this flow, we'll focus on promoting healthy digestion. So let's close our eyes here and try to send breath all the way down to the diaphragm, letting the belly expand as we inhale and contract as we exhale. You might draw hands to the lower abdomen to really connect with this motion. Let the movement become exaggerated if it feels good. You might roll your shoulders back as you inhale and round the spine with each exhale. Find a neutral stance, and we'll prepare for 3 rounds of kapalbhati breath, taking it slow for the first round of about 25. Use the hands on the stomach to really push the air out through the nose, letting inhales come passively between sharp, forceful exhales. And we'll make a loud sound like this. And relax. Take a deep breath in, then empty the belly completely. One more inhale to prepare for our second round, a little faster now. And relax. Return to natural breathing. You might even shake out the wrists or roll your shoulders to stay loose. Now let's draw hands back to the belly for the last round, even faster if possible. Don't worry about the count, just focus on the fiery power of your breath. Exhale fully with each breath. And release. Returning to natural breath rhythm, let's inhale to sweep the arms overhead. And exhale to hinge at hips, folding halfway. You can plant hands on or above your knees. And we'll do a cat-cow series here. Inhaling to arch the spine, exhaling to round it out. You can bend knees slightly if it helps you to find depth here. Shooting the sits bones high for cow pose, and tucking the tailbone for your cat. Keep moving with the pace of your breath. Now let's release into a soft forward fold, letting the arms dangle, maybe swaying side to side. Then we'll roll slowly up to a mountain pose, rolling shoulders onto the back once we arrive. Sweep arms overhead again, and draw prayer hands to your heart. Bow the head to seal your intention for this flow. We're focused on digestion today, but maybe that carries some meaning beyond the physical for you. Take a moment to make this yours. Release arms by your sides and step feet to hips distance. Let's reach arms up overhead and catch the left wrist in the right hand, tipping over to the right with an exhale, expanding through the side body. Inhale back to center and switch sides, drawing the right arm across the midline maybe gazing under the tristep. Come back to center. And we'll reach for the left elbow with the right hand, opening up the shoulder joint. Tilt over to the right again, and then let the left knee bend so that hip can drop a little. Send breath down to all the organs in the lower left abdomen. Let's straighten the left leg, center the torso, and switch sides, gripping right elbow with left hand. Pull the elbow slightly back to keep the chest wide open, and then tilt to the left, and drop that right hip. Send breath to the opening. We'll straighten legs and reach both arms high. Heel toe the feet closer together and inhale to lengthen the spine. Then exhale to twist to the right, sending the arms wide like wings. Aim to keep the hips square to the top of the mat as much as possible. Inhale back to center, arms overhead. And exhale to twist left, engaging the core to keep the collarbone wide. We'll come back to center, reaching high. Then release arms and plant hands on the sacrum, stepping feet back to hips distance. Let's manually push the hips forward for a gentle back bend, pointing the heart up to the sky, bending into the knees if it feels good. We're not worried about depth here, really just trying to create some space in the abdomen. You might rock side to side to target the corners by the pelvic bones. We'll inhale to rise up now, releasing hands, and exhale to fold, hugging arms around the legs. You might keep knees bent here and heel toe the feet a little closer together. We'll focus on pressing the belly onto the thighs rather than pushing into a hamstring opening, finding some length in the low spine. And when you feel ready, you can start to straighten the legs gradually. Release arms and lengthen spine, gazing forward. You can bring fingertips to the mat or support the hands with blocks. We'll bend the right knee and send the left hip high, pouring some weight into the toes to open up the hamstrings. Switch legs now and keep breathing deeply. Now let's bend into the right leg again, and this time walk the hands over to the right, targeting the IT band along with the hamstrings. Inhale to walk hands through center and switch sides, bending the left knee, maybe finding some length in the shoulders too. We'll walk hands back to center. Kick the left leg out straight behind you, and then cross it behind the right leg, grounding both feet as you walk hands over to the right again. You can stay here in a fold to focus on the leg opening, or reach high with the right arm for a twist, building some heat at the core. Release, and we'll come back to center, planting feet at hips distance, exhaling to fold. Inhale to lengthen the spine, and kick the right leg back, then cross it behind the left leg and walk the hands over to the left. Option 2, stay in this fold, or add a twist, reaching high with left arm. Keep your breaths long and steady here. Release the twist. Come back to center and exhale to fold deeply. Inhale to lift halfway and exhale for another fold. Again, inhale to lengthen the spine and exhale to squeeze the core as you fold. Now we'll use the core engagement to rise all the way up, reaching high, maybe adding a back bend if it's in your practice. Draw hands to your heart and release. Let's step back by about a foot. Shift weight into the left leg and lift the right knee to the chest. Once you feel steady in this balance, you can inhale to lift both arms overhead with palms parallel. And then exhale to twist to the right with arms spread wide. Your gaze can follow the right hand. And if you like, you can use the left hand to draw the right knee to your midline, deepening the twist. To release, let's step the right foot down 2 or 3 feet ahead of the left. We'll fold and plant fingers on the mat or on some blocks, preparing for a revolved triangle. Ground through both feet and place the right hand on the sacrum to open the chest. Left hand can stay where it is. Plant on top of or touch down outside the right foot. And we'll twist from the low core, sending the right arm high, breathing deeply. From here, we'll shift right into revolved half moon, planting the left hand below the shoulder. Fire on the glutes to kick the left leg back. And spin your heart to the right side, spreading arms wide. We'll keep this twist, but step the left foot way back for revolved low lunge, stacking shoulder on shoulder. Stay energized through that left leg. And after a few breaths, we'll lift right up into a high lunge. Let's interlace fingers behind the head and lean back into the cradle we've made. Send your heart up and push into those left toes to really open up the front hip flexors. Again, no need to worry about the depth of the back bend here. Just focus on opening up the stomach from the rib cage all the way down through the pelvic bones. Release hands to the mat, and we'll step right into three-legged dog, sweeping the right leg high. Option 2, stack the hip and bend the knee. Now we'll lower the right foot to land in downward facing dog. Then inhale to shift forward to high plank. Exhale to lower all the way down. Untuck toes. And inhale to rise up for cobra pose, sending the shoulders down and back. We'll exhale to lower the chest. And then inhale back up into a higher cobra, or maybe even upward dog. Let's linger here and start to swivel the hips from side to side, peering over the shoulders as we tilt, synchronizing movements with breath. Recenter and lower the chest, and tuck toes, and we'll send the hips high for downward facing dog, pressing the heart down towards the mat to find length in the shoulders. You can start to walk your hands back towards your feet. We'll land in a forward fold at the back of the mat. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale to fold. And root to rise all the way up, filling the lungs. Let's repeat that sequence on the left side now. Shifting weight to the right foot. We'll pull the left knee into the chest, getting steady and balance, and then lift both arms overhead. We'll exhale to twist to the left, sending the arms wide, letting the gaze follow the left hand if balance feels steady. Option to catch the left knee with the right hand and deepen the twist. Facing forward, we'll step the left foot down, preparing for revolved triangle. Left toes can point straight forward and right toes point to the top right corner of the mat. We'll draw the left hand to the low back to open the chest, and plug the right fingertips into the mat inside or outside the left foot, whatever feels best for you. Stack the shoulders, spread the arms wide, and try to point the chest towards the top of the mat to keep the spine really nice and long. We'll launch forward into revolved half moon now. Energized in the right leg from the glutes all the way to the heel. Keep sending breath down to the diaphragm, even as you twist. You should feel some expansion and movement down there. To release, we'll step the right foot back and land in revolved low lunge. Spin your heart up to the sky, stacking shoulders. And we'll get steady through both feet. Square the shoulders down. And then rise up with an inhale to land in high lunge. Interlace fingers to cradle the back of the head and lean back, spilling the pelvic bowl forward. Enjoy breath here. Draw hands down to the mat, and we'll step right into three-legged dog. Option to stack the left hip. Then we'll lower the left foot down for downward dog. Inhale to shift forward for high plank. Exhale to lower your way, and inhale to a heart opening. Rolling over toes, we'll come back to down dog. And then come up high on tiptoes, walking ourselves up to the top of the mat. Inhale to lift halfway, exhale to fold, and inhale to rise all the way up, landing in Tadasana. From here, let's step the left foot back to face the long edge of the mat. Point toes out and heels in, bending knees to sink into goddess pose. Plant hands on thighs, straighten both arms, and we'll exhale to send the right shoulder down, twisting to gaze up over the left shoulder. Inhale through center, and exhale to send the left shoulder down. Let's repeat that twice more on each side, letting your breath determine the pace of movement. Now we'll come back to center and reach arms overhead, inhaling. Exhale to straighten the legs and parallel the feet. We'll hinge at hips to fold forward. Hands can land under the shoulders or move to take yogi toe hold with peace fingers gripping the big toes. You might even walk the hands through the leg opening, reaching behind you. Whatever you choose, just keep sending the sits bones high, pouring weight into the toes. Let's inhale to lift halfway, getting steady. Then rise all the way up and let the hands support the low back again for a gentle back bend, pushing the hips forward, sending the heart high. We'll inhale to rise up and prepare for malasana now, squat pose. We'll place the feet a little wider than hips distance with toes angled slightly out. Inhale to sweep arms up and exhale to sink the hips low. With prayer hands at your heart, you can use the elbows to push the knees wide and try to draw the heart forward. You can stay right here or add a little twist, planting the right palm in front of right toes and spreading the arms wide. We'll come back to center and switch sides, planting the left palm and then reaching high with right arm. We'll release and find a neutral stance in Malasana, breathing into the hips. This pose works wonders for digestion, so I try to include it in my practice every day. We'll release into an easy forward fold with feet a little wider than hips distance. You might sway the shoulders left and right. When you're ready, rise up to stand, and we'll face the top of the mat into Tadasana. Let's shift weight into the into the left foot and lift the right knee. Revisiting revolved mountain pose, lift the arms overhead and twist the torso to the right, spreading the arms wide. You can stay here or reach for the outer edge of right foot, straightening the right leg. Plug the big toe of the left foot into the mat and try to hold a steady drishti point to maintain your balance here. We'll release, but keep balancing on the left foot, kicking the right foot back to catch the arch side and right hand. Lift the left arm, and we'll tilt forward into dancer pose, kicking into the right palm while reaching long through left arm. Make every breath deep and full here. Rise up and release the right foot to the mat. Root feet at hips distance, and we'll gently sway the arms side to side just to loosen up the low back. Now we'll repeat this on the left side. Shift weight to the right foot and raise the left knee. We'll stretch arms overhead and then twist the torso to the left, spreading arms wide, maybe catching the left knee with the right hand, or you can catch hold of the left foot and straighten the leg. Staying broad through the collarbone. Let your gaze follow the left hand for an added balance challenge. We'll release, but keep balancing on the right foot, preparing to move into dancer pose. Kick the left foot back towards the glutes and catch the inner arch of that foot with the left hand. And we'll slowly tilt forward with an exhale, kicking back into the left palm all the while. You might find it helpful to keep a micro bend in the right knee and drop the left hip just a little. Release your left foot to the mat and stand up tall. Let's spread feet wider than hips distance And inhale the arms up. Exhaling to sink back into another squat pose, Malasana. Keep lifting the chest and pressing elbows to inner knees for the hip opening. Release hands to the mat and we'll step back for high plank. Exhale to lower through Chaturanga. Inhale to Cobra or Up Dog. And exhale to send the hips high for Downward Facing Dog. Right away, we'll lower both knees to the mat and send hips to heels for Child's Pose. Inhale to snake forward for Cobra, opening the heart. Exhale the hips back to Child's Pose. And again, we'll inhale forward for Cobra. Exhale to send the hips back. And once more, roll forward for a heart opening. And we'll lower the chest to the mat. Walk the hands in closer and rise up for your highest Cobra yet, maybe on fingertips, opening the abdomen as well as the heart. Exhale to lower. Now we'll come onto forearms for Sphinx pose. And spread the feet as wide as the mat behind you, preparing for half frog. Let's pivot the left forearm so it's parallel to the top of the mat. And we'll bend the right knee. The right hand will press into the tops of the toes, pushing the right foot down while the elbow points skyward. For more of a back bend, you might extend the left hand and straighten the arm like a seal pose. If the right knee feels cranky here, try sending it a little wider to the right. Release the right foot slowly, and we'll repeat this on the left side, planting the right forearm under the collarbone, reaching back to catch the toes with the left hand. Point the left elbow up as you press the foot down towards the outer hip. Option to straighten the right arm. We'll slowly release and sway the hips gently to keep the low back loose. Draw legs closer together. And we'll prepare for half bow pose now, bending the right knee. We'll reach back to catch that foot with the left hand and kick back to lift up. Keep pressing into the right forearm and the left toes to keep yourself centered. Exhale to release. Rock the hips. And when you're ready, we'll repeat on the opposite side, bending the left knee, reaching back with right hand. Fire on the quads and glutes as you kick back to protect the low back. Release and stretch both arms forward, relaxing onto the belly, rocking the hips. Gather your breath here, and we'll prepare for full bow pose now, bending both legs, grabbing outer edges of feet. Keep some energy between the knees as you kick back, lifting the heart. Option 2, rock your bow pose, inhaling to kick back, exhaling to empty the belly and roll forward. If you're breathing deeply into the belly, you might notice this rocking motion happens pretty naturally. We'll release both legs, lie on the belly, and rest the left cheek on the mat, swaying hips. Inhale to lift the head and rest the right cheek on the mat, getting some release for the neck. Now we'll plant hands, rise up to tabletop, and make our way to a reclined position. On your back, let's extend the left leg long and hug the right knee into the chest, really squeezing to feel compression in the front of the hip joint. Exhale to release. And inhale to draw the left knee in. Feel the power of your breath expanding the belly in spite of the compression, creating space. Now we'll draw both knees in and hug them really close, possibly grabbing opposite elbows, squeezing tight. As we release, we'll send both arms overhead, plant the feet near the sits bones. On an exhale, let both knees drape over to the left for a gentle twist. To take it deeper, you might pin the right knee down with the left ankle, but keep the torso nice and long here. Let yourself melt into the pose. We'll inhale to bring knees to center, and exhale to send them over to the right. Arms can stay overhead. If you want to take it deeper, you can pin the left knee down with the right ankle, but stay long through the spine. Let's come back to center. Slowly sit up. And grab some blocks if you have them handy. We'll move into a block-supported bridge now. So we'll plant the feet near the sits bones, lift the hips, and place 1 or 2 blocks right beneath the sacrum. Your stomach might feel a little odd at this angle, but it really shouldn't cause any pain. If you feel extreme discomfort, try adjusting the position of the blocks higher or lower on the back, or use less height, maybe even swap them out for softer cushions. If you like, you can extend the legs long one at a time to relax the psoas muscles. Tightness in the psoas can really impact the function of digestive organs, so let's target both sides for a few breaths each. Now, if it feels safe, you might extend both legs long. Take a minute to gently massage the abdomen. There's no need to probe deeply here, just knead softly, exploring, promoting some movement. If the stomach is really tender, you might opt to just cradle it with the hands or send arms overhead to surrender to the opening. Let's release arms to the floor. Walk both feet in and squeeze the glutes to lift up the hips, moving our props aside. Getting ready for final relaxation. I'm going to take Shavasana in a supported reclined position with blocks and a bolster, sending my knees wide in a diamond shape. I find this pose really helps to keep my heart, stomach, and pelvic bowl wide open and gives my digestive system a chance to really relax. But I'll invite you to rest in whatever shape your body's calling for right now. Let your breath settle into a natural rhythm. If you can empty the mind, go right ahead. But if meditation is challenging for you, try instead to bring focus and awareness to any sensations in the physical body. Listening to your body's inherent wisdom. Turn inward, and I'll wake you in about a minute. To reawaken, we'll start with some small movements, being gentle with the body. When you're ready, you can make your way up to a comfortable seat. And we'll close our practice today by bowing over prayer hands, taking a moment for reflection and for gratitude, giving thanks for our bodies and all the amazing things they perform every day without any conscious effort on our part. Thank you so much for practicing with me today, yogi. If you enjoyed this flow, please give it a like or comment and subscribe to my channel for weekly healing classes. Here's wishing you peace and comfort. Take good care of yourselves.